Hello, welcome to Dungeon Dwellers Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Today is our 5th review for Alien Week. We're all week long, we're reviewing movies that feature aliens. Today we're reviewing the 1991 sci-fi action movie, The Guyver. It's an hour and 28 minutes. Produced by Brian Yuzna, who's known for having really cool practical makeup effects in his movies, such as in the Re-Animator movies, Society. He also did Faust, and he did the really shitty fourth Silent Night, Deadly Night movie, which I forget the name. What was it called? The Initiation? Yeah, that movie was garbage. But it had some cool special effects. This movie is directed by two directors. Screaming Mad George, who's a Japanese makeup special effects artist, and Steve Wang, who's also makeup artist, and he worked on such properties as Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, and he also worked on Arena, which I've been meaning to watch that movie. It looks pretty cool. He also directed Drive, not the Drive you know. Some 1998 movie with, which looks like Mark Dacascos. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was Mark Dacascos. He wasn't in Dragon. Oh, he was in. Oh, he did the American remake of Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. Oh yeah. Which I watched, it was okay. So this movie, I watched it back in high school. I'm kind of a fan of Guyver. I've seen both the OVA, the 13 episode OVA, and the I think it was like a 2005 remake of the Guyver anime, which is based off a manga by Yoshiyuki Takaya. Did he ever finish Guyver? I don't know. They never did a complete they never told the complete story of Guyver. There was a sequel to Guyver in 1994 starring our boy David Hayter, but that movie had way lower of a budget, but the costume for Guyver was much more show accurate, but I thought this one was alright. He's just a skinnier Guyver. So the movie stars Jack Armstrong as Sean Barker, Mark Hamill as Max Reed, Vivian Wu as Miski Sagawa, which they spelled it how you're supposed to say it. Instead of spelling it like Mitsuki, they just spelled it Mizky, which, you know, whatever. You got Jimmy Walker as Stryker, David Gale from Re-Animator as Fulton Balkus, Greg Young Pak as Dr. Tetsu Sagawa, Peter Spells as Ramsey, Michael Berryman as Lisker, who Michael Berryman you'll know from movies like The Hills. What was it called? The Hills Run Red? Not The Hills Run Red. The Hills Have Eyes. I think he was in that one. And he was also in a movie we reviewed on this channel, The Evil Within, which was directed by the grandson of, what was his name? John Paul Getty. Some rich, like, oil baron guy who had, like a crackhead grandson who spent his money making a movie, and it took like 15 years to edit it, and then he died. Jeffrey Combs from Re-Animator is also in the movie, who plays Dr. East. You have Spice Williams Crosby as Weber, who's like the boyfriend of Michael Berryman's character, who not only she's also kind of goofy looking. No offense, Michael Berryman. Like, her eyes are just look too small. But fun fact: she's married to the screenwriter of Hacksaw Ridge. Hacksaw Ridge. You got Willard E. Pugh is also in the movie as Cole Castle, who I totally saw him. I'm like, where the fuck have I seen him in? Turns out he was in a movie called Tracks, which if you go on Ear Juice's channel, he did like a movie night where him and his like live chat did commentary over the movie. It was pretty cool. The movie I thought was okay, but you know, having Ear Juice and his crew watching it, I thought was pretty cool. So the movie story is pretty close to the anime, where though they have like a scroll in the beginning of the movie, and they spoil a major twist in the anime and the opening scroll in the movie, where like aliens were like trying to create the perfect bioweapon, and humans were one of their creations. So they just spoiled that in the opening scroll. A major like twist in the anime and manga. They just spoil in the fucking opening scroll. It's like, god damn it, assholes. Yeah. So the story is basically you have this Japanese researcher named Tetsu Sugawa. Steals the Guyver control unit from Kronos, because Kronos being the organization that's creating like monster super soldiers on Earth called Zoonoids, which their leader is Zola Lord, which there were multiple Zola Lords in the anime and also in the manga. One of the protagonists in that show was a prototype Zolord, who's like the coolest character in this show, who's not in this movie, unfortunately. Yeah, so like Tetsu Sugawa steals the control unit, gets pursued by Michael Berryman and his friends. He turns into a Zolanoid. I think it's called Gregor, which he's not as buff as he's supposed to be in the anime. But yeah, he turns into Gregor. Which, didn't Gregor have a big, massive horn? His was just like a small bump. But whatever, right? It was close enough. Fights Tetsu Sugawa, who also turns into a Zoonoid. In the TV show, it was a really shitty Zoonoid. But like here, he's like a merman. They fight, but Michael Berryman crushes his skull. And like it turns out the Tetsu Sugawa was going to meet with Mark Hamill, who plays Max Reed in the movie. Who I think in the movie he said, I thought he was like a detective the first time I watched it. Apparently he says he's like from the fucking CIA, which is why is the CIA operating on U.S. soil, which they're not supposed to. But you know, like whatever, right? Yeah. So like yeah, he was supposed to meet with Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill sees the fight go on from far away, but by the time he gets there, it's too late. He's all Tetsu Sugawa is already dead. Next, we're getting introduced to Sean Barker, who's the protagonist. You know, he's like the American version of Sho. Sho being the main protagonist of Guyver. He's training at a Kaido gym, right, where he's getting his ass kicked. He's not paying attention. His girlfriend also attends this gym, named Mitsuki, who's played by Vivian Vu, who is the daughter of Tetsu Sugawa. She meets up with Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill tells her about the Guyver unit. Our boy Sean finds the Guyver unit because, you know, Tetsu Sugawa, when he realized he was being followed, he decided to hide the real Guyver unit in like some like red box thing, which Sean Barker finds. Sean Barker gets harassed by multiracial Mexican gang and accidentally activates the Guyver control unit, where that's where you get to see the tentacle rape scene, which is what it looks like when when Sean Barker transforms into Guyver the first time. You have the really stupid like physical comedy, and that begins. You got RoboCop references. He beats the shit out of the guys. What happens? Michael Berryman shows up with the briefcase. Turns out there's a toaster in there. This pisses off his boss, who, because he's a Zor Lord, he can telepathically torture Michael Berryman. He does this by making him slap himself, and it's really fucking stupid because he's making him slap himself, and he's has this really intense look on his face, and he's screaming, but all he's doing is making him slap himself. And it's a really stupid scene. Michael Berryman goes out there to kidnap the girl. Sean Barker and Max Reed try to stop them. You get a fight where Guyver beats the shit out of everybody. Kills the one dude's girlfriend who's holding Misky's hostage. He thinks he accidentally killed Misky, and that's how the Zoonoids are able to kill Sean, which happened in the anime, by pulling out the control metal that's on his head, which liquefies him. They take the girlfriend character and Max Reed to the Kronos' secret lab, where we got introduced to Jeffrey Combs' character. Misky gets to meet the main bad guy of the movie, Fulton Balkus, who's the Zor Lord, played by David Gale, who was a bad guy in Re-Animator movie, which I still haven't seen all of the Re-Animator. One of these days I will completely watch the movie. Yeah, so what ends up happening is just like in the TV show, though here it's a lot more stupid. She takes the Guyver unit hostage, threatens to destroy it. One of the dudes tried to take it away from her. Jeffrey Combs' character, in his Zoonoid form, swallows it, and then you have the Jaws theme play, and then Guyver cuts himself out of there with his elbow blades. You have this major fight with all the Zoonoids. They rescue Mark Hamill, who was getting turned into a Zoonoid, but because they took him out too early out of the tank, he turns into a Zoonoid and dies, which is a very gruesome scene, right? Next, you have the fight between the main guy and Guyver, where the Zoonoid turns into a massive giant monster. They have their huge fight. Guyver does his mega blast from his chest, whatever. I forget. It's been a while since I've seen Guyver, so I don't remember what the special moves are. The only special moves he does in the movie is the elbow blade, which is supposed to vibrate, by the way, never does. And the chest, wasn't it called the Mega Buster or some shit like that? I'm gonna think of something else. But yeah, he does the chest beam attack, where the chest opens up and he does an energy blast, right? So the movie, one thing I will say, this movie ends a lot similar to Faust, but this movie came out before Faust, and it handled the action scene where our hero fights a giant monster way better than the Faust movie, even though the Faust movie came out later, right? So I had to bring that up. But yeah, the problem with this movie is there's a lot of cheesy shit in the movie. It's pretty much R-rated, but it's it plays off episode of Saban's Power Rangers. And then you have a really shitty cameo with Linny Gigley, who's some scream queen, where one of the Zonoids is chasing after Sean or whoever, and stumbles upon like a set for the movie where, like, you know, you see where he meets Lena Quigley. She does a scream, and then he screams back, and like the director goes up, no, 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 cut, cut, cut. You're not supposed to be scared of her. She's supposed to be scared of you. What the fuck is going on here, right? And the movie sequel baits at the end, but like none of these characters are in the sequel. Last time I checked, but yeah. So overall, I don't know. I think if you're a fan of Guyver and you're a fan of like live action anime movies, I think this one is watchable. There are some fun scenes, like the special effects for the costumes are great. They create a lot of costumes. A lot of monster costumes for this movie, though there is some like stupid, like I said, cheesy shit in the movie. I think it's still watchable. I'm giving it 6 out of 10. It's worth watching. In a lot of ways, it's better than the sequel, but because it has a bigger budget. But like the sequel has better action scenes, and like, you know, you have like David Hayter is the movie, and he does a great job. And like in the sequel, you have a Zonoid, you have the Black Guyver, who's like a Zonoid finds a Guyver unit and turns into a Zonoid Guyver, which looks pretty cool. And that fight scene at the end was pretty cool. Maybe I'll review that movie after Alien Week is over. Yeah, so we only have 2 more reviews for Alien Week. We're gonna review the Brian Luzza movie, which I didn't know it was a Brian Luzza movie at first. Progeny, which stars Arnold Laszlo and Brad Dourif. And then Sunday we're going to review The Puppet Masters, which is based off a Robert Heinlein book, which has Donald Sutherland in it. Alright, later guys.